That's fine.
All right. Hey, everybody. We are back with Portland Connections. We're here now trying to keep everybody up to date on everything that's going on in the community with all of the things that are happening with the COVID-19 and the things that are being restricted and businesses having issues and having to change the way they do things. Today we have with us Robert Neyenhaus, and he is with Unipres. So he's going to tell us a little bit, number one, about what Unipres does in the community. I know that people know that they're there, they see the building, they see the signs, but sometimes you really don't know what actually goes on in that building. So how's it going, Robert?
It's going good. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about Unipres.
Well, Unipres is a Tier 1 automotive supplier, and we primarily supply automotive stampings, especially out of our Portland and Tennessee operations. We primarily supply just stampings and some fuel fillers into Nissan and Honda and Toyota, to name a few. Also have small business with Chrysler, but we're providing heavy stamping and stamping components into Nissan primarily out of our Portland facility.
Okay, and so when all of this broke loose, you had a lot of your businesses that shut down, and that you supply parts to. So Nissan shut down, which in fact incorporated what you had to do. So tell us what your process has been and where you are and what you're doing.
Well, just at the process at the end, we're just trying to understand the real impact. You got to make sure you don't make a quick decision that could impact your long-term fiscal and planning goals. So we had to make sure what we were seeing and what we were hearing was real. So initially when it broke loose, you hear a lot of speculation and, well, I'm hearing this or I've been told this, but until you get it officially on company letterhead, you don't, you plan for it, but you don't execute. So we sort of waited for that. And then we made a decision internally with our leadership team to sort of phase things in. And some of the activity at the plant is still ongoing. We haven't stopped anything with our new model activity. We've got some very critical new model launches going on this time of year, and none of that's been delayed at this time. So we're still processing that, and we're still providing some parts for export that's still seeing a strong market there.
So how many employees do you typically have?
In Portland or in general in Tennessee?
In Portland.
Right around somewhere between 550 and 600.
Okay. And of those in the Portland location, how many did you have to furlough during this time?
Well, we didn't immediately furlough anyone. Most people we continued to take care of and pay. We honored pay through the first 2 weeks to our hourly employees and such, and we continue to maintain all the benefit structure we have in place with our employee base. But we have furloughed, I'd say we're right around 50% overall staff have been furloughed.
What it is good to hear is that you've been able to hold their benefits so that they are still insured. So if they do become ill of anything, even not related to COVID-19, that they would still have their insurance and their benefits that are the package that is still there.
That's correct. We wanted to make sure you want to take care of your most valuable resource, which is your people.
Do you know, have any idea when you might be back up and running at full capacity?
Well, we talked about the speculation game in the beginning. We're starting to hear some of that now. You sort of watch the news. You learn a lot from that. We've been given a few dates from our customers, but each of those dates has subsequently been pushed back. I feel pretty strong that a portion of the automotive industry is going to recover beginning May 4th, which would be next week. I feel pretty strong that, like the big three, we're hearing pretty conclusive evidence that they're going to come back into operation. And I think it's just a matter of time till we follow suit. But right now we got a preliminary date from Nissan of mid-May.
So once Nissan's up and running, will you immediately, or do you have a time frame that it'll take you before your orders come in that you have to fill?
No, we build just in time. All of our inventory is just in time. We're only holding hours in front of Nissan or any of our customers. We've just got hours in front of that due to the lean principles. So we'll recover immediately, but we'll start phasing in more and more employees as we build up to that, because there's a lot of idle equipment in our shop that's not used to being idle.
So have you looked at what changes you might have to make? Like, are you going to have to clean differently? And are there things that you guys are putting in place, or is it things that you've already been doing?
That's a good question, because I think that business has been impacted in many ways, and some of these changes are here for good. I mean, as we talk about
Right.
benchmark activities and things we can do to protect our employees, you're going to see that things that we're doing now, we're going to continue to put an emphasis on, especially as we move back into the 12-month cycle of flu season next year. I think there's some good practices that we're going to practice here. But as a whole, we've cut out, we have a full service cafeteria. We've reduced that to hot meal, prepared meals only. We're not doing any buffet style there now. The plant's being sanitized every weekend. We're taking temperature of employees in and about, and they're being asked questionnaires that enter the plant. We've shut down all visitors to the plant. We're not hosting any visitors at this time. So really just trying to limit contact points and clean points for the plant. And we've also transitioned some things over. We're looking at restricting site access and how we get into our facility, because we're a pretty big facility there in Portland. We have 3 plants on site, and how we maintain access to those 3 plants.
So with all of this changes as people come to work, taking temperatures and asking the questions, this takes time. So that is actually impacting the actually getting into production and things that you're doing as well.
That's correct. And we'll be doing that with working with our third-party support teams to help us with that as we sort of phase that in. And then there may be an answer in technology and how we address that in the future with thermal scanning and such.
How have your employees felt during this process before you shut down, or I guess went to partial shutdown? Because, like you say, you do still have quite a bit of employees still there. When you did that, were they apprehensive about coming to work? Did you have any of that, or were you looking at this early on?
To be honest, I think you have a little bit of both sides, because I think you get some information from the news, and some of our workforce maybe wasn't disseminating what was fact from fiction. And it's hard to understand unless you're going directly to the CDC website, where you're getting your information, how viable it is. So we had a little bit of fear. And I think that our HR team, especially, and the leadership team, they did a real good job of getting in front of it and communicating, because all the employees were asking was for information. And we just wanted to make sure we had all the information out there and we were a uniform voice, and it wasn't coming from multiple areas. And, well, this person said this, or this leadership, position said this. We had one voice, and it was very straightforward.
And so you have quite a few people that typically travel quite a bit during normal times. So have you cut out all your travel, and how has that affected your business?
We did. We immediately cut out all travel, both international and domestic. We're not traveling anymore, even within the states. We stopped that almost immediately. It's on a very strict requirement. Even the Japanese and our support team visitors are being treated, the same way. We're not doing any travel. And then as far as the business, we've just moved everything to electronic means. Like, we're having a meeting today. A lot of meetings are being hosted through Zoom and other applications online.
It is amazing how we start using technology that's been there, but we've just not embraced it. And then when you're forced to take that on, because that's what I have found in my job. I have been in face-to-face meetings every day. But until now, when you have to take this technology and utilize it, and it's been great. Now, I do miss seeing people, because, we like to see people. That's why we're in the job that we're in. But it is amazing the things that you can accomplish by the technology and taking hold of that. So are you guys using Zoom for the most part?
We have a bunch of different platforms. We primarily cater to, whatever's available right now, because certain customers, again, and certain clientele have their own platform that they're comfortable with. So we're pretty diverse in what we offer.
Do you feel like, what do you think the future holds for the automotive, not just Unipres in general, but how do you think this has affected, and where do you think the direction of automotive is going to be?
Yeah, another good question. I think you like trying to put me on the spot. Be honest, I think the future's bright. I really do, because you're going to have so many people that are stir crazy when we come out of this, and a lot of employers have stepped up and they've taken care of their employees, and they've offered incentives and opportunities, and even furloughed employees with the government incentives. There are people that are financially impacted, and I don't want in any way to not project that in its full light. But I think that the reduction in travel, you're not out running around as much, and you're not, maybe except for my wife, spending a lot of money on Amazon. I think that there's people that are going to be anxious to get out, and I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for people to get a really good deal on an automobile. You're already seeing it. 0% for 84 months is almost unheard of. And even specialty vehicles, we joke about this a lot at work, but even your specialty line of vehicles, the Cobras and even some of the vets right now, you're seeing some of those vehicles that are sold years in advance, and they're offering incentives on those vehicles, which is, unfounded in our industry.
I do feel like that we are going to have a slow getting back to business. But personally, not just in automotive, I think that once everybody gets back to work, that we will have a strong economy again. I wholeheartedly believe that. So as far as any permanent layoffs or anything like that, have you guys had to do any of that, or is it all just? See,
no, and
that's
I don't foresee us having any permanent layoffs. That's not in our near future in any way.
And so how long, let's go back and talk about Unipres a little bit more. How long have you guys been in Portland?
Oh, goodness. I think 34 years now.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be good at math, but give or take.
Yes. So over 30 years. So how do you see, you guys have a great relationship. And Nissan is your main supplier from the Portland?
From this site, yes. Yeah, we have operations also in Mississippi and Alabama that cater to different OEMs. But in this particular site, Nissan, we're a near plant strategy supplier with them, or an alliance supplier, as they used to say. And so everywhere in the world Nissan's located, we're located.
You have a lot of people on here commenting saying that Unipres is doing a great job. So you guys, you've got some people that are seeing how you are handling the situation and taking care of it. So I did want to bring that up to you as well, because I know that you did not, your facility did not have to take some of the measures. You are an essential employee and employer, and you could have just kept right on. But you guys have made the changes to adapt to what you needed to do.
Well, you have to understand your workforce. I mean, even when we talk about returning to work, there are a number of items we have to consider. I mean, of course, if the orders aren't there and the revenue's not there, then you can't pull the trigger on your workforce yet. But there's also, these are families. I mean, you're talking about people's lives, and you don't just, I mean, you always want to say, well, we make decisions based on business, and that's true. But I think there's a personal side of management too that you have to always incorporate into that. And even when we talk about recovering, we're looking ahead, and we had some discussion today with the leadership team. What's that attendance going to look like, and what are the amount of call offs? And we got to make sure that people are comfortable, and we're gonna meet that head on. We're gonna start having open discussions and meetings with the team members, and we got to make sure that that childcare is available. You don't picture that, but that's a big part of our workforce, is making sure that our employees have their children taken care of, and all of that has to be brought into decision making.
Well, and myself, that's what I've been concerned about, is how is childcare going to take place? I don't. My children are all grown, so I don't have that issue anymore.
My background over here, not all my children are grown yet.
Well, these are my grandkids, so I have them on the wall. So, but it is a difficult time to have not have school in session, because school is the main way that these kids are taken care of, and then also not to have a babysitter, because then do I want to send them to daycare, because is that going to be a danger to them? So there's so many questions out there for these families, and you're right.
But again, the daycares are going to be under extreme pressure and protocols also from both. I live in Kentucky, and there, when we return and how we return to normal life, it's going to differ from what we left.
You're right, and they let you cross the state line to come into Tennessee, because I thought they were shutting down that line for us.
There we go with those rumors again. Yeah, I had to go through a strict search of the vehicle and all that to get into Tennessee.
No, actually, it was when you went back home. They didn't want any Tennessee vehicles coming into Kentucky, but we've had fun with it, even though he said he didn't want us there. So I told him, just don't go shop there. Shop in Tennessee, spend all your money here. So, But no, I do appreciate you guys and all that you do, because you are always very supportive of the community and everything that we do. Not just the chamber, but so many areas that you guys give back and do think about that these are the places that your people live, and you want to help take care of them. And again, you have always been supportive of us, and as well as every other agency that's around. So, and we always bring our leadership groups there, and they're very amazed when they come through your facility and see how it's set up, and see the robots all working. And so again, we do appreciate you guys and all that you do here in our community.
I appreciate that. And there's a lot of hard work that goes into that. And, Unipres as a whole, we recognize that in the community, being a very large employer like we are, we owe it to the community to help take care of the community and be there in times of need and when there's no need, just to be available. And a lot of that, you gave credit to Unipres, but a lot of that goes to the HR team. They spend a lot of time. You work very closely with Tanya. I don't know if she's watching or not. I'll hear about this later, I'm sure.
She is. She made a comment.
She does an outstanding job, her and her team, and just making sure they're involved and bringing things to Jeff and myself, and then, allowing us to make decisions on needs and availability. So got to thank her.
She does a great job. And like I say, it is one of those that I can always pick up the phone and call her and say, hey, can we come tour your facility? Or, can you guys help us out, do something? She has been a great partner with us. So we do appreciate that as well. So, what do you feel like that Unipres itself will continue to grow? Because you have another facility in Tennessee near Nissan, is that correct? Near the Nissan plant?
We have a couple more facilities in Tennessee. We have 2 in Smyrna, and then we have a site located inside of Nissan in Smyrna.
Okay, so do you feel that you'll see more growth here, or?
Well, I think as a whole, the future is very bright. That's what I can say without leaking anything confidential. I think the future is very bright. I think Portland has a lot of opportunity that we're yet to tap into, and the workforce there is great. They're becoming more and more skilled. The quality's improving. We're able to be very, very competitive in cost, and I just feel like there's a very bright future in Portland. I think there's a lot of opportunity.
I do feel like that the culture has changed at Unipres as well. I know, of course, being there for over 30 years, it does make a difference. And you go through stages, and I only hear good things coming out of Unipres now. And like I say, I can attest to what I see when I go into the facility, and everybody seems happy, and happy employees make a huge difference.
And that's a major understatement.
Yes.
And I think that's where we started leading when we talked about our response to the COVID-19, was making sure the very first thing was a question about what do we do for our employees. That it wasn't about, well, what do we do for our customer? It was really about how do we take care of our people.
Well, I do feel like that the federal government addition to unemployment has really helped alleviate a lot of that stress of people that are taking off, because without that extra funding, it would be very difficult to be on unemployment this day and time with the small amount that you receive when you're off. But I do feel like that helps to take care of them, and then you keeping them on their benefits has always been it seems like it's going to be always looking out for them that way.
Yeah, I think the government's done a good job in certain areas in responding to this. Of course, the U.S. is just one big business ultimately when it comes to running a business. Right. And we have a business leader right now in office. And I'm not here to talk about politics. I'm just saying when you get into that and you have people leading the country as it's a business, I think they really quickly recognize they got to take care of the economy. And I think that helped up front. But I think some of those benefits also on a statewide basis, again, I'm going to go back to the HR team, and she's going to kill me for keep bringing this up, but man, they got in front of this. They did all the blanket filings for our employees, and and even any issues that came up, they're trying to help and answer those questions and making sure the impact is minimized to the employees.
Well, unemployment has been a very much a crazy, stressful thing, getting certified every week and going through.
Yeah.
So I've been talking to a lot of the self-employed people that have really, it was over 3 weeks before they actually got their first check. And so I know that it's always hard to deal with. But again, I do think that knowing that this is not permanent, there's
No, it's
light at the
not.
end of the tunnel, and that these guys are going to have jobs when they come back, and we'll get back to business hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah, I tell you, if we don't get back to business soon, this homeschooling thing's about to kill me. So I'm not a good homeschooler.
Well, I know my daughter has been through the same thing. And what's funny is she is actually a nurse at the school, and now she's having to be a teacher at home with her too. And she's like, we're not ever homeschooling.
No, I was joking today with Mr. Woods at the plant, and I told him, I said, man, I think next year for my kids' teachers, I'm just going to buy them all a car or something, because you can't understate how much value they are to our society. And it's just unbelievable. This homeschooling thing has been a real challenge. It's almost like punishment to be at home right now. I'd much rather go to work every day.
It makes us really appreciate our teachers now. And like you say, it is something that, in the past, you're like, oh, they get off in the summer. Well, they deserve being off in the summer, if you ask me.
They should be off 6 months out of the year. It's crazy.
Yes, but then, that puts them back in your house and you having to do stuff just like you're doing now. So
That's
maybe
true.
You don't want that.
No, maybe only 1 month out of the year.
There you go. But, well, like I say, I do appreciate Unipres, number one, being in Portland, getting in front of this and being a leader in how industries can take care of it and utilize this time to clean and to, gosh, I tell you, I know that Tanya and everybody else has listened every day to the changes, because I know every time I listen to something, I think I've got it under wraps. And then I turn around and I'm thinking, oh gosh, now it's not even what I thought.
It's just a very dynamic situation. And I think organizations have to be very dynamic in this time too. If you're a static organization, you're going to struggle.
I agree. And I think it is, people don't realize also the decisions that you guys have to make on behalf of your employees. They don't realize how difficult those are, because they are family. It's all a part of who you are. And it seems like it ought to be easy, just like the president and the governor. They are like, oh, he should do this or he should do that. Well, unless you're actually that person making that decision, it is the hardest things that you don't know if you're making the right one, even when you're done.
Well, yeah, I mean, like any decision though, you have to make the decision with the best information and facts at hand. And once you make it, you got to be convicted to it and roll with it, And for our team, we have a very skilled leadership team, and they've really bonded over this last few months, especially when it comes to this. And hopefully, we don't have to deal with this again in the future. But nothing will test your team and your system like the abnormalities we've had thrown at us, And for us, we've been very blessed.
So, do you still have lines then up and running and making parts?
We do.
Okay, all right. Well, and are they making any cars at Nissan?
They've got some small trial stuff going on. See, they're right in the middle of new model launch, so they're building vehicles for a specific purpose, maybe crash test or whatever reasoning. For new model, just trying out their lines also.
Okay, all right. Well, and I know that that's always tough when they're changing lines and you've got to change your parts. So hopefully you can get all of that done in the downtime and then be ready to go back full force when it's all ready.
I think we're in pretty good position when we come back.
Good. Well, I do want to comment again and tell everybody, make sure you make a comment, an emoji, something on there, because if you're watching live, you'll get to have a chance to win 2 meals from LS Pepper Restaurant and also a shirt of Spread Local Love 37148. Those are shirts that they're selling at a local business for $20, and you get to pick where $10 of that goes to another small business that's had to close and it's struggling. So it's like I say, it's a great way to support the local businesses here, because just like you're shut down, a lot of these small businesses that are ready to get up and running.
So where can you get the shirt at locally?
Graphic Obsessions.
Where's that
Graphic
located?
Obsession. It's located on the corner. Well, it's actually not on the corner anymore, but right across from Main Street on Highway on 109, right on the main road. But we'll put that information on here in the comment section. But Graphic
Okay.
Obsession, she makes signs and shirts, and you can. She's actually right today. I think she's making graduation signs for with kids' pictures on them for their parents to do. So she does a lot of signs and things there. So if anybody's interested in those shirts, again, she's got a list of businesses, and if yours isn't there, then you can also go in and add a business to it. But she just wanted to do something where she could make the money for her shirts, but then give back to another small business that doesn't have that opportunity.
That's outstanding.
So, no, Robert, we do appreciate you being with us. And again, we do appreciate Unipres being in our community and everything that's going on. Know that you guys are staying on top of it as well.
We're doing our best.
So, but hopefully when this is over, we can do another spotlight on Unipres, and it'll be talking about something besides what we're having to do with COVID-19.
We'll be there. We'll be glad to show you our plant. We've had some changes in the last few months, and with new machine installs and some new lean practices and some things we're doing there, we'll be glad to show it off again.
Oh, I tell you, it's always, like I say, I love going into the industries and seeing, and yours one of the plants that we actually, like I say, we do kind of get to go through quite a bit. So I do love going in and seeing all that you guys have going on.
We like having you.
All right. Well, thank you, and look forward to talking to you soon.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.